Good evening, all, and welcome to the October 22nd, 2024 regular meeting of the Gaston County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Hovis, and I am Vice Chair for the Board, as well as a Commissioner representing the Crowders Mountain Township. I would like to welcome all of our viewers and those present, and thank Spectrum Cable and AT&T for making this broadcast possible for our citizens. For our television and live streaming audience, I would like to present your county commissioners, beginning on my right.
Alan Fraley, Cherville Township.
Good evening, I'm Ronnie Worley, South Point Township.
Kathy Cloniger, Dallas Township.
Kim Johnson, Gastonia Township.
Good evening, Tom Kieger, Gastonia Township.
Thank you. There will be another little special presentation once some other folks get here, but we'll move right on into our first item, the Judge William Gaston Award presentations. A very important part of the board's mission is to encourage citizen participation in county government and community involvement. In 1998, the County Commission established an annual award bearing the name of the county's namesake, Judge William Gaston. He was in service from 1778 until 1844, to recognize those volunteers who have demonstrated exemplary commitment, dedication, and leadership. Since its establishment, the Gaston County Commission has honored 67 recipient volunteers for their services to the Gaston County community. This year, the Board of Commissioners has the privilege of presenting the, the William Gaston Award to two outstanding individuals, Mr. Frank Stewart and Ms. Whitney M. Hill. I think Commissioner Fraley is at the podium, and he has the first one for Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Frank Stewart, would you please come forward? Any friends and family that would like to come up and stand with Frank, that's fine, or we can leave him up here by himself.
We encourage you to come forward because we'll probably do a photo after this.
And it says on the agenda, Commissioner Brown. Obviously, I'm not Commissioner Brown. He sends his well wishes. Come back here just a little bit. He sends his well wishes to you, and as you know, he's off campaigning and running for Secretary of State. And this gives me the awesome honor to present you with this award tonight. And you know, I got to say a few little comments before I say all these good things about you. You know. Frank's been a friend for several years now, and, you know, when I first met him, I thought about, you know, the Dos Equis man. I mean, he's like this, you know, with this accent, this international man of mystery, you know, so he's actually the most interesting man in Gaston County for sure. There's no doubt about that. But most of all, you know, Frank he's a servant leader. He just quietly goes about his business, helping other people, never looking for any recognition of any kind. So tonight we're going to flip the script on him a little bit and make this evening about Frank. I would also like to say, of all the things I'm going to say about Frank tonight, the most important to me is that I call him my friend. So with that being said, Hopefully these words are going to be big enough for me to see. If not, I'll bring my glasses out. This is Mr. Frank Stewart for the 2024 Judge William Gaston Award. Mr. Frank Stewart is well known in Gaston County across the state as an exceptional leader and visionary. Born in Barranquilla, is that close enough? Colombia. He was educated in American schools and moved to the United States in 1982. In 1989, he founded Ultra Machine and Fabrication, followed by Ultra Armoring in 2008. Under his leadership, Ultra Machine and Fabrication became a prominent precision subcontract manufacturer for defense contractors, while Ultra Armoring became a prime defense contractor specializing in the design, engineering, and armoring of military vehicle platforms. After 26 years, he sold these businesses to fully dedicate his effort to Premier Body Armor, LLC. Frank's vision and drive for continuous improvement have led him to pursue diverse business interests both domestically and abroad. His leadership extends beyond the business world and into the community. He currently serves on the Caramont Health Board of Directors and is a member of the Quality and Safety Committee, which governs the quality of patient care in the hospital. He also serves as the chairman of the Caramont Medical Group Board of Directors, which is the third largest medical group in the Charlotte region, employing over 425 physicians and providers. Mr. Chris Peak, the CEO, who's here tonight, he also made the remarks that Frank has greatly contributed to exponential growth of Caramont Health. His entrepreneurial success and business development expertise have proved invaluable to our board as he's charted a course to remain an independent healthcare system for our community. Additionally, Frank is a director and board member of the Skyline National Bank in Virginia and has held numerous leadership roles, including serving as chairman of Gardner-Webb University Board of Trustees, where he earned an honorary doctorate in humanities. He was also appointed by the North Carolina Speaker of the House to the Rural Infrastructure Authority and most recently to the North Carolina Ports Authority. Formerly, he served on the Coastal Carolina National Bank and Board of Directors of the State Board of the USO of North Carolina. Appointed by the governor, Frank has also completed 2 terms of the North Carolina Advisory Commission on Military Affairs. He received the Gold Eagle Award from the Boy Scouts of America, the Patriot Award for support of North Carolina Guard and Reservists, and the North Carolina Baptist Heritage Award. He is also a lifetime sustaining member of the Association of the United States Army and a member of the National Rifle Association. A graduate of UNC Charlotte with a bachelor's in business administration, Frank became a U.S. citizen in 1992. He and his wife, Michelle, live in Stanley, North Carolina together. They are proud parents of 3 sons, and I believe all 3 of those sons are here tonight also. That's Drew, Alex, and Christian, and have 3 wonderful grandchildren. Frank is widely known for his selfless individual who consistently puts others first, always striving to help those around him succeed. He's the person you can turn to with a problem, knowing he'll listen attentively and work toward a thoughtful solution. Above all, his generosity and commitment to others are the core of everything he does. Frank, the County Commission is honored to present you with the 2024 Judge William Gaston Award in recognition of your exemplary leadership and your continued efforts to make Gaston County a better place to live, work, and play. This is yours, my friend. It's a copy of that. We got a little award we're going to bring down here to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. And here's the award that hopefully you'll place in a real prominent place, I'm sure, somewhere in your office. And if you'd like to say a few words, you're welcome to now.
Not really. However, thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Vice Chairman, and everybody for selecting me for this. I'm very humbled, actually speechless. I've always believed that God called us all for service. And we are never more like Christ than when we serve other people. And when we do it kind of in secret, but we're not boasting about it. And now my wife and I have been married 38 years, and I tell you, I feel like the most blessed person. And surely God has given us great opportunities to be part of a lot of people's lives. And I know we've missed some of those opportunities, but we cherish the ones that we're able to do. So thank you tonight. Thank you for selecting me for this. I'm truly humbled for it. Thank you.
Frank, would you like to get a photo now? Alan's coming back up before we do the next recipient. Y'all just come up, and we'll all come together here in the middle. Come on, Alan. Yeah, and anyone else with Mr. Stewart, you're please welcome to join for this photo. We'll post it on our website. Yeah, just slide that back. Alan's coming around. That's good. Some of y'all would come over here on the other side. We'll just kind of mix it up. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. And I would now ask that Miss Whitney Hill please come forward. Anyone wishing to join her, please come join her at the podium. Welcome to have all of y'all stand up there with her as she receives this award. We're happy to do that.
Oh, they're coming.
Thank you.
I watched the back of your head at the last meeting. I was sitting right behind you. Come on up. Hey, guys. Good to see you. I was telling Whitney I happened to take in the last Health and Human Service meeting, and I admired the back of her head the whole meeting, sitting right behind her, and she can run a very, very efficient and prompt meeting. And when I read some of the things she's been involved with, I think we'll all have a greater appreciation for somebody many people don't know. But again, I want to thank you for your service in advance. Whitney Hill is a licensed social worker and currently holds the role of Dean of Students at Hunter House High School. A graduate of Highland High School of Technology, she earned her Bachelor of Science from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro in 2009, and her Master of Social Work from Winthrop University in 2012. In 2020, she completed Gaston Together's Civic Engagement Leadership Program. Ms. Hill is also a devoted member of the Mount Zion Restoration Church of Gastonia. Whitney's unwavering commitment to community service and advocacy has profoundly impacted the students and families of Gaston County, inspiring many with her dedication and compassion. She's an experienced, dependable, and person-focused social worker with an unwavering focus on eliminating barriers to students' academic achievements by providing resources and community support to individuals and families. Throughout her career, Whitney has actively been involved in various initiatives. Her work includes coordinating educational support programs, providing access to vital resources, and advocating for systemic improvements in both education and the broader community. Her contributions have also brought about many tangible improvements throughout our community. Her work has resulted in many positive changes, such as increased community engagement, improved local services, and support for underserved populations. Her efforts have led to measurable enhancements in academic performance and family stability, and have directly benefited students and those experiencing housing instability and food insecurity. She is currently the board chair of our Health and Human Service Board. She also served as a shelter advocate for women and children fleeing domestic violence situations at the Kathy Mabry Cloninger Center for Domestic Violence. That was from 2016 till 2020. She's a member of the University of North Carolina Greensboro Alumni Board of Directors, and she's also an active member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, serving as Vice President of the Zeta Mu Omega Gastonia chapter. Whitney demonstrates remarkable dedication and leadership in every aspect of her work. She skillfully navigates complex challenges while fostering beneficial partnerships with public organizations, businesses, and other stakeholders. Her ability to connect with people and find solutions has been key in driving both individual and community progress. Beyond her professional achievements, Whitney is celebrated for her genuine passion for helping and empowering others. As a public servant grounded in the needs of her community, she approaches every situation with empathy and commitment, often going above and beyond, dedicating extra hours and resources to ensure the needs of those she serves are met. Her exceptional service embodies the spirit of community leadership and sets a powerful example for others to follow. Whitney, the County Commission is honored to present you with the 2024 Judge William Gaston Award in recognition of your dedication and compassion and your continuing efforts to make Gaston County a better place to live, work, and enjoy. Congratulations, young lady. And you are going to be presented. I'll just let Donna give it to you. And you might want to pass it on so you can say a word or two.
A lot of words were said, so I don't have much else to say other than I do want to thank the Board of Commissioners for this great opportunity. I truly am humbled. I was humbled when I got the phone call, and just still even walking in today, just such an honor to be recognized in this way. And then I also want to thank you all for the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. If y'all would join us up here, we'll take another photo.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I blinked on that. Thank you, Whitney. And if we would, while we're all still standing, I'm going to get back to the program, and I skipped over the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, and I deviated from the program a moment. So if you will, please bow with me. I'll open our meeting in prayer. If you please stand. Gracious Father, we thank you for the leadership and the faith that you bestow upon us every day. Father, we're ever mindful of the western North Carolina 14 counties that have been severely affected by the weather events over the last month. Father, those people are in our minds, our hearts, and our prayers. Father, continue to help them put their lives back together as only you can do, and help us to be diligent in understanding their needs and reaching deep into our pockets to assist those folks have some semblance of life beyond where they are today. We ask that and your blessings on us as we take care of the county's business. Amen. Commissioner Worley will lead us in the pledge.
Would you join me in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all.
I just think you sent it back 27 years. Well, minus.
We have one item of business that is on our consent agenda, but we don't want to leave it just we don't want to leave it just buried in the consent agenda. We would like to ask Mr. David Goldberg, who is our soon-to-be new county attorney, who will be reporting to work, and he and his wife and family, if you'd like to join him at the podium, you're more than welcome to. and ask him if he has a few words for us, where this action will take place during the consent agenda, so there won't be any fanfare then, but we want to give him an opportunity to introduce his family to us and us to him. Mr. Goldberg.
Thank you, Commissioners. I am humbled and honored by the special trust that you have placed in me, and truly thank you. I believe that a professional and nonpartisan staff dedicated to supporting the work of elected leaders is the cornerstone of an effective and efficient local government, and I intend to represent Gaston County with passion and professionalism so as to help you best serve the interests of the community. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Chuck Moore for his unwavering commitment to this county and decades-long service to this county. His selfless dedication will always be my guidepost. I also want to thank Deborah Bechtel at T. Campbell Law Firm. Deborah has been a true friend and mentor throughout this process, and I'm grateful for her wise counsel and support over the last few weeks. Lastly, I want to thank my loving wife, Shana. I'm here today because I'm driven by your love and support, and I could not do this without you, and know you will be with me along the whole journey. To my two sons, I got Jeremiah here and Samuel. I may be in this chamber past your bedtime now and then. Just know that even when I'm not around, it's probably because I'm here working to build you and kids just like you a strong community to live and grow in. Commissioners, thank you very much. I'm truly honored to be here this evening, and I'm ready to get to work.
Welcome to you, sir. Thank you. You want to do a photo? Let's do a photo. I think that's the last photo. Film at 11. Mr. Worley will be Mr. Worley will be doing our next presentation, referencing DHHS and the Community Support Services, Veteran Services. He is on his way to the podium, and he will be with you momentarily.
Is Joseph Stepney here, Veteran Services Administrator? Hey, Joseph. Yeah. Didn't see you back there behind the column. Thank you for being here to accept this tonight. Thank you. This is a proclamation to proclaim October 22nd through November 11th as Operation Greenlight for veterans in Gaston County. Whereas the residents of Gaston County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces. Whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who have served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. Whereas Gaston County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. Whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, religious groups, and civil service by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members across more than $52 billion in access more than $52 billion in federal health and disability compensation benefits. Whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas an estimated 20% increase of those service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. Whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans. Whereas Gaston County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. Whereas we urge all citizens of Gaston County to join in honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom, to salute and honor the service and sacrifices of our men and women in uniform, transitioning from active service by displaying green lights in the window of their place of business or residence from November 4th through November the 11th, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the Gaston County Board of Commissioners proclaims October 22nd through Veterans Day, November 11th, Operation Green Light for Veterans. And of course, you can probably pick those up at Lowe's. I know I've ordered mine from Amazon, but you can get that green light. And I've had the green one, and I've had the blue one to support our law enforcement. But I would ask any veterans that are in attendance to stand and be recognized tonight. And we thank you for your service, each and every one. Joseph, I'll let you accept that and say a few words on it. Thank you, sir.
Very much. Good evening, and thank you, Board of Commissioners. I accept this proclamation on behalf of Gaston County's veteran community, and thank you all for your support of Operation Greenlight. This is a very simple way to let veterans know that we are not forgotten, and that by shining a green light, county governments and our residents will let veterans know that they are seen, appreciated, and supported. On behalf of the veteran community, we are grateful to the Board of Commissioners for supporting this and several other veteran functions through the years, and we look forward to many more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
What were the dates on that?
November 4th. Our next item is public hearings. The commission will take citizen comments for 6 hearings this evening. Comments will be taken on the following issues: a conditional district, REZ 183, zoning map change, REZ 188, zoning map change, REZ 189, to designate Dr. John M. and Laura Watt Presley House as a historic property, LM 002, to designate the Woodlawn Mill, AKA Mount Holly Spinning Mill, as a historic property, LM 003, and to designate the J. Harold Limburger House as a historic property, LM 004. Before we begin, let me outline the rules of procedure for the hearings. Anyone wishing to make comments will be recognized by the chair, then requested to step to the microphone for their comments. Citizens will state their name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. All questions shall be directed to the chair for response. The chair shall rule on all points of order during the hearings. I will ask the board, if you would please, instead of voting yes, if you will raise your hand when we do our vote so we can get an accurate count for the video record and also for our clerk. That being said, is there a motion that we go into public hearing?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Worley, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? Same sign. Thank you. It is approved unanimously. The County Commission will take citizen comment on public hearing zoning map change, conditional district, REZ 183. Alex Austin is the applicant. Ms. Peyton Wiggins, Planner 2, Building and Development Services, will provide an overview. Once she has completed her comments, citizens' comments will be taken. Ms. Wiggins.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. REZ-24-06-10-00 183 is a conditional rezoning request for PID 145191 or 4024 Old York Road in Gastonia. The applicant is Alex Austin and the property owner is Lease Services LLC. The request is conditionally rezoned from the C3 General Commercial with US and CH overlays to the CD C3 General Commercial Conditional District with CH and US overlays. The vicinity map shows the parcel south of Gastonia city limits right along the 321 corridor. The subject parcel is to the north of the North Carolina-South Carolina state line. The ortho photo shows that the site is currently used to park vehicles and operates as a towing and wrecker service. Note this photo is slightly dated and the business you see here is more established today. The zoning map shows the parcel is zoned C3, General Commercial, with other C3 in the area. In addition, there's RS12, R1, and R2 zoning districts within the area. The subject parcel and surrounding areas also have the US Urban Standard overlay as well as the CH Corridor Highway overlay. This is the map of adjacent property owners that were notified for tonight's public hearing. Notices were mailed out on October 10th, and a sign was placed on site on October 11th, all in accordance with general statutes. There have been no calls or inquiries about this request. This shows the adjacent property owners' information. This slide shows the proposed site plan for the towing and wrecker service use. Currently, the site is being used as a towing and wrecker service, however, it does not comply with the supplemental regulations that are required. For some background, a code enforcement case was opened on this property on April 23rd, 2024, due to operating a junkyard or towing business off the property. Gaston County Planning and Zoning staff met with the property owner on May 30th to discuss options for compliance. While the towing and wrecker service use is allowed in the C3 zoning district, the use must comply with the supplemental regulations found in section 8.2.10 of the UDO. Because of the site's unique shape and its small size, the applicant is seeking approval by the conditional rezoning process with requested areas of relief. Some features on the proposed site plan include the existing tree line, the 6-foot-tall privacy fence, delineated parking spaces for employees and customers, an office and storage area, and erect vehicle storage area. To begin with the areas of relief, the applicant is seeking approval for reduced setbacks. The site is unique in that it has 3 road frontages along Falls Street, Old York Road, and Greer Street, and is an oblong pentagon shape. If the required setbacks were to be applied, only a small area of usable space would remain and would not be enough space for the applicant to operate the business efficiently. Therefore, the applicant is proposing 11-foot front, side, and rear setbacks for the site. Similar to section 7.5, the applicant is seeking relief from section 8.2.10A, which states that outdoor vehicle storage areas shall be located a minimum of 100 linear feet from any street right-of-way and 200 linear feet from any residential zoning district. Considering the parcel size and configuration, the applicant is seeking relief in this requirement as the site is bounded on 3 sides by street rights-of-way. If a 100-foot setback from all street rights-of-way were strictly applied, the usable area would be minuscule and non-usable. The property faces a similar situation on the southern property lines that abut 2 residential properties. Those properties are located at 4304 Falls Street and 4209 Greer Street. Both are zoned RS12, single-family, 12,000 square feet. The ordinance requires a 200-foot setback from any residential zoning district. If strictly applied, this would prevent an inoperable area for the applicant given the size and shape of the parcel. Therefore, the applicant is seeking relief in this area. Furthermore, Chapter 11 of the UDO outlines the required screening and buffers. Section 11.3.2.A.2 states when a lot is in a commercial district and abuts a lot in a residential district, screening must be provided on the commercial lot in the form of a Type D buffer. The applicant is requesting to utilize the existing features on the site for screening in lieu of the Type D buffer required between the 2 zoning districts. This was included in your staff packet, but here is an exhibit provided by the applicant showing the existing fence for the towing use and the existing vegetation on site that will serve as the buffer. Note that the wooded privacy fence shown on the right is the neighbor's fence and cannot be considered for screening measures since it's not on the subject property. The fence for screening that staff is considering is the chain link with privacy slats shown on the left. Section 8.2.10.c is another supplemental regulation found in the UDO that requires that all damaged and wrecked vehicles to be parked in delineated parking spaces. The applicant is seeking relief for this requirement because of the existing conditions on site and the nature of the towing business. Instead, the applicant is providing delineated parking spaces for employees and visitors and establishing a general parking area for his wrecked vehicles. Other supplemental regulations, the ordinance requires a special use permit if the storage area is greater than 25 parking spaces. The applicant is processing a conditional rezoning application, so that satisfies this requirement. Section 8.2.10E requires the wrecked vehicle storage area to be located in the rear yard only and must be materially screened with a 6-foot high opaque fence. Given the site's condition and the proposed location of the office and storage area, the automotive storage and parking areas are proposed in the front yard. To remedy this relief, the applicant is providing the fence and material screening from the rights-of-way as required by the ordinance. The last area of relief is signage. The applicant is requesting a banner-type sign to be attached to the existing 6-foot-tall fence along Old York Road. The proposed sign will be no larger than 64 square feet, which aligns with the sign area requirements in the C3 zoning district. Since the ordinance does not provide regulations on the sign type that the applicant is seeking and prohibits any sign not expressively permitted in the code, this has been added to the requested areas of relief. The required parking calculation is 1 space per employee plus 1 per vehicle used in operation plus 2 for visitors. The site then requires 9 spaces for operation. This includes 3 for the employees, 5 vehicles for operations, and 1 visitor. The applicant shared with staff that there will only be 1 visitor at a time and is by appointment only. The applicant is providing 16 spaces on site, which exceeds the requirements of the UDO. The site will be served by public water and a private septic system, and all 3 surrounding roads are NCDOT owned and maintained roads. The Gaston Cleveland Lincoln MPO reviewed the project on September 18th and provided the following comments. According to the 2020-2029 STIP, there are no funded transportation improvement projects in the immediate vicinity of the site. The CTP shows Highway 321 under a boulevard that needs improvement, but this could one day be a funded project in the near future or may never become a funded project. It is not funded now. This is the map that the CTP shows, a proposed 2-lane major road from Stagecoach Road to Little Mountain Road. The proposed thoroughfare is an unfunded project at this time. Like with any conditional rezoning case, there's a standard process outlined in Chapter 5 of the UDO. So far, the applicant has fulfilled all requirements of this process. The applicant submitted the site plan and obtained approval by staff after multiple revisions. Staff sent this project to the county TRC on Wednesday, September 4th, and have not yet received any comments other than a letter from the MPO. The applicant held the 2 required public information meetings on September 10th and September 12th at the Place Church on Chapel Grove School Road. A full report has been included in your staff packet. However, no members of the public attended either meeting. While considering the request, staff provided a list of recommended conditions of approval. For the record, this states the future office must meet required setbacks in North Carolina Building Code, as well as any uses in the C3 General Commercial Zoning District would be permitted in accordance with standards and regulations as adopted in the UDO. So as an overview, this property falls within Area 5, Scenic Gaston, Southwest Gaston of the Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Key issues for citizens in this area include things such as preservation of open space, road improvements, and better connectivity to other areas of the county, and preservation of existing conditions while allowing low to moderate growth. The future land use is defined as rural center. Rural centers are those in rural community areas that serve a specific purpose for the immediate area. This project meets goal number 4 of the comp plan as it sets aside quality commercial areas along existing corridors for development. Staff finds that the application as presented is consistent with the goals and future land use designation. The planning board heard this request at its September 30th meeting and recommended approval by a 4-to-1 vote. So, Mr. Vice Chairman, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Wiggins. Are there any comments from the applicants? If you'll come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Austin. It's a pleasure to be here, and I think we're all in accordance with everything. And with the new developments that are coming in, really just right across the street, we're towing and wrecking business. So hopefully there won't be too many accidents in the area. But if there are any, we'll be sort of right there to hopefully provide quick service to the area. And other than that, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yep.
Any other citizen, any other person wishing to speak from a citizen standpoint? Hearing none, any questions from the Board of County Commissioners? Okay. Hearing no other additional comments, I will declare this item for the public hearing closed. Just to recap, the planning board does have come to us with a recommendation for approval by a vote of 4-1. Is there a motion from the board on an action? Motion to approve by Commissioner Fraley, seconded by Commissioner Worley. Any other discussion? Mr. Keeger.
May I ask Mr. Skiba, what was the reason for the dissenting vote, if you know?
We asked the planning board members why they voted against it, and it was discomfort with how many reliefs were being asked for, but that was his justification for voting against it.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay. No other discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. It's unanimous. Thank you. Mr. Moore, will you provide a consistency statement to the clerk for our record?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Item B, the county commission will take citizen comment on public hearing zoning map change, REZ 188. Michael Smith is the applicant. Ms. Jamie Kumbergaloo, Director of Planning and Zoning and Building Development Services, will provide an overview. Once she has completed her comment, citizens' comments will be taken. Ms. Kumbergaloo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. REZ-24-07-29-00-188 is a general rezoning request from Michael Smith for parcel ID 313630. This was formerly a part of parcel ID 223003. The subdivision was recently approved, recorded, and mapped, and the property owner is Kathy Bridges. The applicant is requesting to rezone the parcel from the R1 Single Family Limited Zoning District to the R2 Single Family Moderate Zoning District. The subject site is located on the western portion of the county near the county line. It is west of Bessemer City and north of Kings Mountain city limits. The orthophoto map shows that the site has 3 existing homes on the parcel. The homes were built in 1985, which makes all 3 structures existing non-conforming homes. Because the site was recently subdivided, a new home can be placed on the newly created lot. This map also shows that there is a mix of site-built and manufactured homes in the area. This slide shows the lot that was recently created through the subdivision process. The applicant, with permission from the property owner, went through the subdivision process earlier this year to carve out a 1.37-acre parcel. This rezoning request is for this parcel only. The plat was recorded on August 27th and recently mapped by our tax mapping office. The zoning map shows that the parcel is zoned R1. There are R2 and R3 neighborhoods to the northeast of the subject site. There are also additional lots to the south, about a half-mile away, also zoned R2. Based on the aerial images of the area, there are several existing non-conforming manufactured homes within the immediate vicinity of the area. This map shows who all was notified with information about tonight's public hearing. Staff has not received any calls or inquiries about this request. These are the mailing addresses of the parcels highlighted on the previous slide. The site will be serviced by a private well and septic system. Environmental Health has already issued a septic permit for the site. Based on the application, it is for a single-family dwelling with 3 bedrooms. A copy of the septic permit has been included in your agenda packets. Wright Drive is a private drive, and an easement typical was recorded with the plat. Emergency Services did comment as they were concerned with the access to the new lot during our TRC review. However, the applicant will be required to build out access to his lot according to the typical that is shown on the approved plat to ensure emergency vehicles will be able to access. TRC comments, in addition to those stated previously from Environmental Health and GEMS, the GCL-MPO provided their standard letter and shared that there are no funded transportation improvement plans on the STIP, the MTP, or the CTP. No other comments were provided from the other departments. The subject property is located in Area 5 of the Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Key issues for citizens in this area include the preservation of open space, road improvements, and preservation of existing conditions while allowing low to moderate growth. The future land use designation is rural. Like the R1 zoning district, the Rural Future Land Use Plan was the default designation for the county. Staff finds that the proposed zoning district and use are consistent with the Comprehensive Land Use Plan. The Planning Board unanimously recommended approval of this request at the September Planning Board meeting, as they found it to be a reasonable request and in the public interest, as it is consistent with the goals of the comprehensive land use plan and will keep the parcel residential in nature as envisioned by the rural future land use designation. Mr. Vice Chairman, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Bergelow. Are there any comments from the applicants? Okay, thank you. Any citizen comments in reference to this action? Seeing none, any questions from the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none, I will declare this item's public hearing closed, and just to recap, the Planning Board did make a unanimous recommendation of approval 9-0. Is there a motion from the board?
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Tom Keeger. Any second? Second from Kim Johnson. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. It is approved unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Moore, will you please provide a consistency statement to the clerk for the record? Item C, the County Commission will take citizen comment on public hearing zoning map change REZ 189, Land Use Consulting LLC applicant. Ms. Peyton Wiggins, Planner 2, Building and Development Services, will provide an overview. Once she has completed her comments, citizen comment will be taken. Ms. Wiggins.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. REZ-24-06-10-00, excuse me, I'm sorry. REZ-24-08-22-00189 is a general rezoning request for PID 136602 located at 1211 Rankin Street in Gastonia. The applicant is Land Use Consulting LLC on behalf of the property owners, the Philip Baxter ACOG heirs. The applicant is requesting to generally rezone the .42 acre parcel from the RMF Residential Multifamily Zoning District to the R2 Single Family Moderate Zoning District. The vicinity map shows that this parcel is nestled between Ranlow, McAdamville, Lowell, and Gastonia city limits. The ortho photo shows that this parcel is currently vacant. Rankin Street and the nearby properties are majority residential homes, both stick-built and manufactured housing. In addition to the residential homes, there's a church across the street, Reformation Orthodox Presbyterian Church, that fronts Rhine Oakland Road. Previously, there was a single-family home on the property. Based on aerial photography, the home was removed between 2011 and 2014. The zoning map shows that the subject parcel and directly adjacent properties zoned as RMF Residential Multifamily with some RS8 nearby. For background, this parcel, along with the surrounding parcels, were in the City of Lowell's extraterritorial jurisdiction, or ETJ, until 2011. It was then released to Gaston County and was placed under a similar zoning. The parcel was then zoned RMF Residential Multifamily. If approved, any uses allowed in the R2 Single Family Moderate Zoning District would be permitted in accordance with standards and regulations as adopted in the Gaston County UDO. This is the map that shows who was notified about the public hearing this evening. Staff mailed notices on October 10th, and a sign was also placed on site in accordance with general statutes. So far, staff has received no calls or emails regarding this request. This shows the property owner's information who received those mailed notices. The site is served by a private well and septic system. The subject property directly abuts Rankin Street, which is a public street. The Gaston County TRC reviewed this project and provided no comments at this time. The GCL MPO provided their standard letter and shared that there are no funded transportation improvement plans or projects on the STIP, MTP, or the CTP. The subject property is located in Area 3, Riverfront Gaston, Northeast Gaston of the Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Key issues for citizens in this area include the preservation of open space, road improvements, and increased job opportunities. The future land use designation is suburban development. This designation consists of single-family residential areas that exist around commercial pockets representing a standard suburban center. Typically, this would resemble subdivisions built around services for those communities. The Planning Board heard this request at its September 30th meeting and recommended approval by a 5-0 vote based on that this is a reasonable request and in the public interest and is consistent with the goals of the Comprehensive Land Use Plan, as it will keep the parcel residential in nature, which aligns with the single-family areas around commercial pockets that suburban development land use envisions. Mr. Vice Chairman, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Wiggins. Are there any comments from the applicants for this public hearing? Hearing none, are there any other citizen comments in reference to this zoning issue? Hearing none, are there any questions from the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none? I'm sorry?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I was going to just say a comment, Mr. Vice Chairman. I'm Laura Hamilton, 107 Bristlecone Court. I am the applicant.
Oh, okay.
I retired this year, so. I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Wiggins and the county staff and to the planning board, and thank you to you, Board of Commissioners. And my client would just like to be able to put affordable housing for one of their family members on this property. Thank you.
And thank you for your service to the county as well. Hearing no other additional comments, I will declare this item's public hearing closed, and we will move on to the board's action. Of course, this was approved with a 5-0 vote from the planning board to us. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Keeger, second by Alan Fraley. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. Any discussion? Hearing none from the board, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. I thought unanimous. And Mr. Moore, will you please provide a consistent statement to the clerk for our record? Item D, the county commission will take citizen comment on LM 002, an ordinance to designate the Dr. John M. and Laura Watt Presley House as at 16 West Woodrow Avenue, Belmont, as a historic property. Ms. Jamie Kumbergaloo, Director of Planning and Zoning, Building Development Services, will provide an overview. Once she has completed her comment, citizens' comments will be taken. Ms. Kumbergaloo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. LM-24-01-30-00002 is a local landmark designation request from Sandra and Richard Cromlish for parcel ID 125407, located at 16 West Woodrow Avenue in Belmont. This property is also known and being referred to as the Dr. John and Laura Watt Presley House. The subject property is located south of Wilkinson Boulevard and in between Central Avenue and Main Street. Woodrow Avenue is a part of the National Historic District in Belmont, and this property was surveyed and included in the original inventory list. The orthophoto map shows the site from an aerial view. We can see that both structures which are being presented for designation are on this map. The designation report includes the servants' quarters towards the rear of the property. This map shows who all received a mailed notice with information about tonight's public hearing. The case was also advertised as required by our local ordinance and state statutes. Staff has not received any calls or inquiries about this request. Sorry, I think I'm off on my presentation. For landmark designations, we like to break the process up into 3 steps. We have the research phase, public hearings phase, and then the post-hearings phase. The applicants for this request attended the February 20th meeting of the Historic Preservation to present the request and have their property designated. Research was conducted by the property owners, the Historic Preservation Commission members, the staff members to create the designation report. The designation report was written by the property owners, and the HPC reviewed and agreed to send it to the state for their comments at their March meeting. Staff worked to review and amend the report before sending it to the state. Comments were received on May 24th, and the Historic Preservation Commission moved to present this request to the City of Belmont and the County Commissioners at their June meeting. Per state statutes and the county's ordinances, landmarks may be designated if they have special significance. For us, this means that the property needs to have historical or prehistorical significance, architectural significance, or cultural importance, or possess integrity of design, setting, workmanship, materials, feelings, or association. This structure is being presented based on cultural importance for the area, but it also possesses architectural and historical significance as well. This property was built by Dr. John M. Presley in 1920. While the structure itself is a great example of the traditional four-square style home, Dr. Presley and his wife, Laura Watt Presley, were revered for their contributions to the city of Belmont. Dr. Presley was a doctor in Belmont along with Dr. Charles McAdams. Together, they served the Eagle Mill community, which is now the site of Eagle Park. Dr. Presley was a commissioner in Belmont and instrumental in bringing Davis Park to the city. At the time, it had one of the finest baseball fields outside of the major leagues. Dr. Presley also helped obtain the city's first public library and build the Otten Stowe American Legion building, which is now the Legion Building in Davis Park. Dr. Presley was also a World War I veteran and a beloved member of the community. The Belmont Banner described him as the most able physician, wise counselor, and a friend to all. Part of our research includes analyzing the financial impact of the municipality and the county should the property be designated. The information on, well, 1 second, please. The information on this slide is taken directly from county tax records. I want to note that for the record, the 1925 build date on this slide is for the servants' quarters. The designation report states that the principal structure was built in 1920. The market value of this property is $757,490, and the property was purchased by the current owners in 1979. If the property is designated and the property owners go through the application process with our county's tax department, the city of Belmont would see a decrease in property taxes collected for this property by $1,723.29 for each year. If approved, the county would see a reduction in property taxes collected for this property by $2,268.68 for each year. Historic landmarks fall under the real property tax exemptions and exclusions program. This exclusion allows the property to be taxed uniformly on the basis of 50% of the true value for the property. Please note that this is not an automatic tax deduction, and the program is a deferred tax program. This means that if anything happens to the property that is deemed a disqualifying event, the taxes then have to be deferred through participating in this program would have to be paid back. An example of a disqualifying event would be completing work on the house without obtaining a certificate of appropriateness for that job. Something else to note as well is that the deferment process does not run with the land, like the designations do. It runs with the property owner. The property will always be designated, however, the tax benefit must be applied for by the property owners and any future property owners. The next step in the designation process is the public meetings and hearings. Per the interlocal agreement between the municipalities and the county, local landmark designation requests must receive approval from both elected boards. The HPC recommended that this request be forwarded and presented to the City of Belmont at their June meeting of this year. Our staff presented this request to the City of Belmont at their September workshop, and the request was unanimously supported by Belmont City Council. Our staff is here this evening, along with the property owners and a member of our Historic Preservation Commission, to share this request for final approval and designation by our county commissioners. Mr. Vice Chairman, this does conclude my presentation. We also have our property owners here for this request, along with a member from our HPC, if you have any questions for him.
Certainly, thank you. Are there any comments from those citizens who are here that would like to speak to this request? If so, please come to the podium. If not, I think it's all fairly clear. Okay. Mr. Carpenter, did you wish to make a comment?
That's a good one.
Good one. Thank you, sir. Any questions from the Board of County Commissioners? Hearing none, I will declare this item under the public hearing closed, and we'll ask this board for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the request.
Motion by Ronnie Worley, seconded by Tom Keeger. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. And this doesn't require a consistency statement because it was a declaration of historic significance. Item E, the County Commission will take citizen comment on LEM 003, an ordinance to designate the Woodlawn Mill, AKA Mount Holly Spinning Mill at 300 Woodlawn Avenue. Mount Holly is a historic property. Ms. Shelby Barkley, Planning Technician and Building Services Department, Development Services, will provide an overview. Once she has completed her comment, citizen comment will be taken. Ms. Barkley.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. LM 240408000003 is a local historic landmark designation request submitted by Cameron Gilstrip with Adaptive Construction. The property is located at 300 Woodlawn Avenue in Mount Holly. It is also known as the Woodlawn Mill or the Mount Holly Spinning Mill. The property owner is Lehigh Holdings LLC, and their representative, Roger Lovett, has given consent for Mr. Gilstrip to act on his behalf regarding the designation of this property as a historic landmark. The subject property is located within the municipal limits of the city of Mount Holly. Woodlawn Mill is part of the National Register of Historic Places and is defined as a fully realized example of an early 20th century brick cotton mill designed by noted mill architect Stuart Kramer in the prominent textile producing region of Gaston County. This map shows the state orthophotography from the site from 2023. Please note that there is a small parcel within the site that is not going to be designated. It is owned by Duke Energy. This map shows the adjacent property owners who were notified of this public hearing. And this slide shows the mailing addresses that we used. So this process for local landmark designations is broken up into 3 steps for us, the first being research, the second being public hearings, and the third being post-hearing. For our first step, the Historic Preservation Commission voted to add the property to the study list at their April 16th meeting. Since the report was so well written, the HPC voted to send the report to the State Historic Preservation Office for review at their April meeting as well. SHPO comments were received on June 20th and stated that they found the designation report to show strong evidence of the special significance of the property, specifically concerning the aspects of architectural and cultural significance, being designed by Stuart Kramer and being the 3rd electric-powered mill in Gaston County. At their August 20th meeting, the HPC moved to present their request to the City of Mount Holly City Council and the Board of Commissioners. Part of our research includes analyzing the financial impact to the municipality and county should the property be designated. The information on this slide is taken directly from Gaston County tax records. The market value of the property is $287,630. We understand from the applicant that there is a redevelopment project planned for this site. Although the value of the property will change once construction for the project is complete, we asked our present use value exemption appraiser to estimate the current impacts on tax revenue for the City of Mount Holly and Gaston County if the historic local landmark designation request is approved. If the property is designated, the property owners go through the application process with our county's tax department. The City of Mount Holly would see a decrease in property taxes collected for this property by $582.45 for each year. If approved, the county would see a reduction in property taxes by $861.45 for each year. This is not an automatic tax deduction. It is part of the tax deferment program. This means that if anything happens to the property that is deemed a disqualifying event, the taxes that have been deferred through participating in this program would have to be paid back. Based on the interlocal agreement with the City of Mount Holly, our next step was to present the request to their City Council. At their September 23rd meeting, they voted unanimously to recommend the approval of the request to the Gaston County Board of Commissioners. With this being complete, we have arrived at the last step in our process. If you choose to designate the Woodlawn Mill as a local historic landmark, a resolution will be recorded with the Register of Deeds office and a historic landmark sign will be placed on the site. We will also work to connect the property owner with our tax department. Mr. Vice Chairman, this concludes my presentation. If you have any questions for me, I'm most certainly open to answering those. We also have an HPC member here tonight and the applicant.
Thank you, Ms. Barkley. Are there any other citizen comments to come before the board during this hearing? Seeing none, are there any questions from the Board of County Commissioners? Seeing none, if there are no additional comments, I will declare this portion of the public hearing closed and ask for a motion from the board.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion from Commissioner Morley to approve this action.
Second.
Second?
Yeah.
Mr. Kiger? Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. It is approved. Thank you. Our next item is the County Commission will take citizen comment on LM 004, an ordinance to designate the J. Harold Lineberger House at 316 North Main Street in Belmont as a historic property. Ms. Jamie Kimbergeloo, Director of Planning and Zoning and Building Development Services, will provide an overview Once she has completed her comment, citizen comments will be taken. Ms. Kimberly.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. LM-000004 is a designation request for parcel ID 125161 located at 316 North Main Street, and the applicant is Nanette Allison. We've just been calling her Nan, so I apologize if I messed up that name. This property is being referenced as the J. Harold Lineberger House. Process-wise, the request has followed the standard landmark designation procedures. The applicant has been working with the Historic Preservation Commission since the end of 2023. The applicant hired a consultant to write her designation report, which was then sent to the state for review and comments. HPC recommended to move this request to public hearing at its September meeting. Our staff presented this request to the City of Belmont at its regular meeting on October 7th. The request was unanimously recommended for approval by their City Council, as they found it to be an excellent and highly intact example of the colonial revival style home. The property is located on North Main Street near the Sacred Heart campus. The ortho photo shows the main house and that it is surrounded by other residential homes. This map shows who all was notified with information about tonight's public hearing. Staff has not received any calls or inquiries about this request. These are some photos that were provided by the applicant. This is the exterior of the home from Main Street. The home is being presented as an excellent example of the colonial revival style home. The structure was built in 1937 and presents key features of colonial revival homes, including columns and porches, steep pitched roofs with dormer windows, and classic details such as pediments and cornices. This photo shows the bay window and arch details on the home. The house also features a Flemish bond brick veneer, a side gabled roof with slate shingles, and symmetrical window placement. This is the rear eastern elevation of the home. This structure is associated with the prominent Lineberger family, whose name is well known throughout Gaston County. And then this is the rear eastern elevation of the home. J. Harold Lineberger was the third son of A.C. and Mabel Lineberger. The A.C. Lineberger house, which is located at 411 North Main, is just across the street and was designated back in 2000. The Gaston County HPC demonstrated the historic significance of the home and the property as shown in the designation report. Additional photos of the interior of the home can be found in the designation report in your staff packet. Please note, though, that the designation will not regulate anything inside the structure. These photos were only added for reference purposes only. The information on this slide was taken directly from our county tax records. If the property is designated and the property owners go through the application process with our tax department, the City of Belmont would see a reduction in property taxes collected for this property by $3,108.92. The county would see a reduction in property taxes collected by $4,031.35. The property owners are requesting to designate the exterior of the home only. The City of Belmont did ask if the designation would have any effect on the railroad that runs on the back of the property. Staff confirmed that with the applicant that there is a recorded easement for the railroad, and we have specified in the proposed resolution that the designation of this property would not include or apply to any easements on the property, including a railroad easement. Mr. Vice Chairman, this does conclude my presentation, and we also have our applicant here as well.
Thank you, Ms. Kimberly. Are there any comments from the citizens or the applicant in reference to this? Hearing none, are there any questions from the Board of Commission?
I have a curiosity question, not
Certainly.
about this necessarily, but what happens if the owners wanted to expand the building?
Footprint-wise, they would have to come before the Historic Preservation Commission first to obtain a certificate of appropriateness. That is a quasi-judicial process where they are proving how what they're doing to the structure is not going to change the integrity of why it was designated.
Would the city get involved?
They would become involved in the zoning permit process, so they would.
I was just curious. I never really knew the answer to that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm good.
Any other questions? I will declare this item's public hearing now closed. It's before the board for action.
Motion to approve.
Approval by Commissioner Worley, second by Commissioner Kieger. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, thank you, it's unanimous. Madam Clerk, this concludes tonight's public hearings. Our next agenda is the business agenda. It's before you. Are there any revisions to the business agenda or items that any board member would like to pull? Hearing none, we'll accept a motion to approve the business agenda as written. Motion by Commissioner Fraley, second by Commissioner Johnson. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. And it is approved as written. Thank you. Approval of minutes. We are provided a draft of minutes for the rescheduled meeting of 9/19 and a closed session that took place on 9/19. Are there any revisions, or would you like to make a motion to approve as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is presented by Mr. Kiger, second by Mr. Worley. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, and it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Citizen recognition. To my knowledge, we have not had anyone to sign up under citizen recognition, and I have just been affirmed that is correct. So we always set aside a portion of the board's agenda for the purpose of allowing citizens an opportunity to offer comments and/or suggestions. This comment period is not intended to require the commission or staff to answer questions or provide a response. Just wanting the public to know you're always welcome to come. There's a limit of time. You normally have 3 minutes, depending upon those signing up. We offer and welcome your response, but please do that in the future. Thank you so much. The next item is the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Kiger, second by Ms. Johnson. Any other, no other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. It is approved unanimously. Thank you, board. Items pulled from the consent agenda, there were none. Items added by majority vote, there were none. Appointments, we're down to appointments. Mr. Fraley, Commissioner Fraley, you have any appointments?
I do, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Vice Chairman. I have 3 tonight. Health and Human Services Board, Scotty Brooks. You want me to just go ahead and do all 3 of them?
Yes, sir, that's fine.
Juvenile Crime Prevention, Nicholas Diavia. And the Transportation Advisory Board, Joanne Raxter.
I'll second those. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, like sign. It is approved unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 4 this evening. Go through these. Industrial Facilities and Pollution Control Financing Authority, a reappointment of Rudy Pomeroy. Local Emergency Planning Committee, Russ King. Transportation Advisory Board, a reappointment of Ruth Murphy. And also the Transportation Advisory Board, LaShawn Olson. And I would make a motion that all 4 of those be.
Seconded by Mr. Commissioner Fraley. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. It's approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Worley. Ms. Cloninger.
I have no appointments.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Johnson.
I have one appointment. It's for the Transportation Advisory Board. It's a reappointment, Ms. Rhonda Burr-Hilburn.
I'll second that. Any other comments? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. It's unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Mr. Kiger.
I've got 3 this evening. Michael Radford to the Emergency Planning Committee, Mark Williams to the Planning Board, and reappoint Paul Williams to TAB.
Okay. I'll second that. Any other conversation? All those in favor, please signify by right hand. Opposed, same sign. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. I have a couple. To the Industrial Facilities and Pollution Control Financing Authority, I have a reappointment of Barry Rivers. And on the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, Michael Applegate.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Worley. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. And that takes care of appointments.
Full board.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't even turn my page. Thank you, gentlemen, for keeping me on the spot. We have a full board appointment for the Legislative Goals Committee for the NCACC. Commissioner Kiger and myself will be attending. We need to designate one of us as a voting member.
I'll nominate Mr. Hovis.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand,
I'll volunteer to be the alternate.
and that'll be fine. It's done. Thank you. It's unanimous. Oh, that's the chair point. Sorry, it's on my next page. I was following in order. Now the full board is next. Thank you, Donna, for keeping me in line. Appointments recommended are in front of us, recommended by the Cherryville City Council for William Scott Bean for the Board of Adjustments. Motion for approval, Mr. Fraley.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Keeger. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. It's unanimous. We have a Cherryville Planning Board also recommended from the City Council for William Scott Bean for the Planning Board as well. Motion by Commissioner Commissioner Fraley, second by Commissioner Worley. All those approving, right hand. Disapproving, same thing. Both approved unanimously, and that should take care of our appointments. Now I turn the page. Commissioner committee reports. Are there any tonight?
I will add one comment.
Certainly.
Just for information that Mr. Jeff Booker will be leaving Gaston College to take a position with Caramount.
Correct.
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Keeger. County managers report.
Thank you very much. I'd like to take this opportunity just to express really appreciation report for all of our staff and the community as they stepped up in response to Hurricane Helene. You may not think, obviously from the news, of all the damage that went on western portion of the state, but we had damage here as well, and our folks really stepped up and served our community to the best of their abilities, above and beyond. And I want to say really deep, sincere thanks to them, and thanks to our community partners, nonprofit agencies, churches, and just all of the people here that really just stepped up, because we had a lot of damage and we had a lot of folks that were displaced and needed help and assistance, and our folks worked tirelessly to respond to that effort. And just another part that I'd like to say appreciation to for our staff, we had a lot of folks that deployed to the western portion of the state, from Chief Hunter, Emergency Management, County Police, gyms, Sheriff's Office, Tax, Building Inspections, Planning, DSS, Public Health, Communications. We still have folks in the western portion of the state that voluntarily deployed there to help our neighboring partners and really responded in a way that for Gaston County we want to show our community that we value them and public service every day. So I just want to say thank you. And additionally, Chief Hunter has formally requested a disaster recovery center in Gaston County. This center will serve as a centralized location for individuals registered for assistance to meet with FEMA representatives and explore the recovery options. FEMA is here, they're on the ground. They've been here the past 2 weeks, and they are playing a vital role in coordinating efforts to support our citizens in their response. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roden. County Attorney's report, Mr. Moore.
Very quickly, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that this will, I believe, be my last meeting serving as your interim, and I want to thank you all for, again, placing your trust in me for a short period of time to try to keep the county on the right track. And I want to express my thanks to all the members of the staff, starting with Matt and Donna especially, but everybody's been very helpful to an old guy who's kind of been stumbling around here lately, trying to keep up. So thank you once again, and I'll see you later.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. We are internally indebted for your willingness to continue to assist us. Your institutional knowledge is unsurpassed, without question. Thank you very much. Are there any other matters before the board? I will share one thing for public information. This week is undoubtedly Caramount Week. We have several events, 3 events actually taking place the rest of this week that will culminate with a Saturday gala at the new Caramount site in Belmont. We're very pleased to, I'm very pleased to represent this board on the Caramount Board of Directors and open this new hospital, which will see patients in the first of the year. We're very fortunate to have the certificate of need given to us when we started the process before we finished the hospital, we already had another 64 beds given to us by the state authority saying you need another 64 beds. The foresight of the Board of Directors for Caramont Hospital allowed a fourth floor to be built out in a shell fashion. So that shell will actually be ready to be occupied, and we have authorization for beds before that. That is a forethought that this county has always been doing. We did it with the building of the new main branch of the library. We did it with this building, having the fifth floor ready for when it was needed. That's good planning. That's good foresight in recognizing that these public facilities are here for long periods of time. That's what those of us who sit at this dais, that's one of our primary jobs, is to look beyond the 5 minutes that we're in and prepare the county for the future. That doesn't come with a crystal ball. There's no exact science to that. But we have been very fortunate and very diligent to have people that served before us who have taken that endeavor, and we have people at Caramont who are doing that for our community as well. And I'm just proud to be a part of that, and you'll hear more about that in the future. But hearing no other items coming before the board, I will conclude the meeting. That's motion to adjourn. This concludes our meeting for tonight. The next combined work session and regular meeting is Tuesday, November the 12th at the Harley B. Gaston Public Forum here at the courthouse. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being in attendance. If you have any questions or comments, please telephone our clerk, Donna S. Buff, at 704-866-3196. Good night, everyone.